Chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not just another video. This is a divine interruption in your day, a moment designed by God to shake you awake. What you're about to hear is not random. This message found you for a reason. God is speaking directly to your soul, and it's more serious than you think. There are hidden truths about your life that you felt deep down but could never quite explain, until now. You've always felt different. You walk into a room and feel the atmosphere before a word is spoken. You sense people's intentions, see through fake smiles, and carry a weight on your heart that you can't describe. This isn't sensitivity, it's divine awareness. You've been marked since birth, not by people but by heaven. You weren't meant to fit in. God didn't design you to blend with the crowd or follow the noise of this world. You were built for isolation, for wilderness seasons, for spiritual battles that most people couldn't survive. Your silence is misunderstood. Your boundaries offend others. But what they call strange, God calls sacred. You've been attacked not because you're weak, but because you're powerful. From childhood, you were targeted spiritually. Demonic forces recognized your light long before you ever did. They tried to break you, to confuse you, to make you doubt your worth. But you're still here, and that alone is proof of your calling. You carry wisdom beyond your years. You see visions in dreams. You get warnings in your spirit. You feel pain others ignore, and you sense shifts in the spiritual realm before anything even happens. You've questioned if you're crazy. You're not. You're chosen, and that comes with a cost. The world wants to silence people like you. Because when a chosen one wakes up, everything changes. You become a threat to systems, patterns, and generational curses. You start to speak truth, not fear. You walk in boldness, not approval. And the enemy hates that kind of authority. You don't crave fame, you crave peace. You'd rather lose followers than lose your alignment with God. You've learned to be alone without being lonely. Because in the quiet, God speaks to you loudest. And that intimacy can't be bought, imitated, or taken away. This is very serious. Because the pain you've endured wasn't just suffering, it was spiritual training. Every betrayal was a lesson. Every closed door was divine protection. God was shaping you when it looked like He had forgotten you. But now He's activating what He's placed inside of you. There's a roar in your spirit you've been holding back. A message, a mission, a movement that won't let you rest. You weren't made for surface conversations. You were made to shift atmospheres. To awaken the sleeping, to expose darkness, to walk with fire in your voice. That's why the enemy been trying so hard to silence you. You've seen the numbers, the signs, the synchronicities. You've had moments where the veil felt thin, where heaven felt one breath away. You've had dreams that came true, thoughts that were confirmed. And those weren't coincidences, they were confirmations. God has been whispering, but now He's shouting. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken. You are becoming. And every delay was designed to develop your discernment. You've been called to a higher frequency. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unfeel what you've felt. That's why you feel disoriented in this world, because your spirit comes from another. You're not here to blend in with darkness. You're here to remind the world of the light. This is a warning and a reminder. You cannot go back to who you used to be. The veil has been lifted. The illusions are crumbling. You've crossed into divine awareness, and God is holding you accountable for that awakening. It's time to rise into who you really are. You are not just chosen. You are appointed, anointed, assigned. You were not born by accident. You were born for this. Every wound has become a weapon. Every tear has become oil. And God is about to use you in ways you never imagined. But you must be obedient. You must stop doubting what God keeps confirming. Stop explaining your calling to people not assigned to your journey. Stop waiting for validation that already exists in heaven. You are enough because He says you are. Chosen one, your life is not small. That's why the battles have been massive. The enemy only fights what threatens him. And your very existence threatens systems of control, fear, and deception. You carry truth, and truth disturbs darkness. Don't let the pain distract you from your purpose. Don't let the silence make you think God has abandoned you. He's been watching the whole time, recording every cry. And He's getting ready to show the world why He kept you hidden. You were never forgotten. You were being preserved. This is serious. Because the moment you truly remember who you are, the enemy loses grip. And the world gains a warrior. One voice, your voice, can change everything. Speak it, live it, become it. Now is not the time to shrink. Now is the time to step fully into your divine identity. You're not crazy, you're called. You're not weak, you're rising. And heaven is watching. Let this be your moment of confirmation. Let this video be the sign you prayed for. The warfare, the heaviness, the dreams, the pull, it all means something. You are awakening. You are remembering. You are returning to the truth of who you've always been. God says, this is very serious about you. The time is now. The call is loud. The mission is sacred. So answer it with your life. Because the world is waiting for you to wake up and walk in your divine fire. You were born to shift the atmosphere. If this message spoke to your soul, don't scroll away in silence. Comment below and declare, I accept the call. Like this video if it confirmed what your spirit already knew. Subscribe to Inner Wisdom Soul for more divine messages just like this. And never forget you were chosen for this. Walk boldly, speak loudly, shine endlessly, that feeling you carry, the heaviness that won't go away. It's not depression, it's divine responsibility. Your soul knows you were made for something greater, and it's aching to remember. You've tried to distract yourself, to fit in, to silence the whispers. But no matter how far you run, your calling follows. You might not have a stage, you might not have a crowd, but heaven still sees you. You minister in silence, you heal without words. You shift energy when you walk into rooms. And that's because you carry the presence of something eternal. The enemy has tried to isolate you, because isolation breeds revelation. It was in the wilderness that the prophets were prepared. It was in silence that the voice of God grew louder. You weren't being rejected, you were being refined. And that loneliness, it was making room for alignment. People have walked away from you without reason. Doors have slammed that should have stayed open. You've cried prayers that felt unanswered. But what if that silence was your protection? What if God was removing distractions before releasing your destiny? Chosen one, you are not overlooked. You're being positioned. God does not waste pain. He does not delay without purpose. And when He hides you, it's because what you carry is too sacred for premature exposure. He's not just preparing a path for you, He's preparing you for the path. You've always known you were different. Even as a child, you questioned everything. You saw things others ignored. You dreamed of realities no one understood. Your heart broke in deeper ways. Your mind wandered into spiritual truths. That's not coincidence, that's calling. You're a forerunner, a spiritual pioneer. You've been chosen to break the patterns your bloodline accepted. You're not here to play it safe. You're here to confront the lie with the truth. Your existence is a rebellion against the systems that enslave souls. And that's why your battles have been so brutal. You feel everything deeply. Pain lingers, joy vibrates, injustice crushes you. Because you were made to feel what others suppress. Your emotions are not weaknesses, They are keys to the spiritual realm. You navigate between worlds, earthly and divine, and that's no easy path. God says this is serious because there is urgency in the spirit. Too many are asleep, too many are conforming. But you were built to awaken them, to shine light in the shadows, to speak when others are silent. And that is why your silence has felt so unbearable lately. You've been sensing a shift. It feels like something is coming, but you can't explain it. Your dreams are more vivid, your heart is restless. That's because heaven is getting ready to move, and it needs you ready. Not perfect, not polished, just present and willing. The enemy isn't attacking your finances, your relationships, or your mind just because. He's attacking your focus. Because if you ever realize who you truly are, if you ever remember the power of your voice, your light, your spirit, the chains would break, not just for you but for generations. You are carrying something bigger than yourself. And sometimes that burden feels unbearable. But what if the weight isn't punishment? What if it's purpose? What if the heaviness you carry is the glory of God pressing into your soul? He trusts you with it because he knows you won't bury it. Keep going. Don't stop in the middle of transformation. Don't trade your birthright for temporary comfort. You weren't made to live numb. You weren't created for survival. You were born to awaken. Keep rising. Let the tears flow if they must. Let the silence shape you. Let the confusion teach you to trust. Because this path, this narrow, sacred, misunderstood path, it leads to power that can't be taught, only remembered. Keep trusting, even when you don't feel it, even when it hurts. Because what's happening in the spirit is greater than what your eyes can see. Your angels are working. Your name is being mentioned in rooms you haven't entered. Your breakthrough is closer than your doubts are loud. Keep listening, not to the world, but to your soul. Your spirit knows the way, it's always known. And the more you quiet the outside noise, the louder God's voice will become within you. You've been chosen to see what others pretend not to see, to confront the uncomfortable, to embrace the unseen. This is not a curse, it's a divine responsibility. You weren't made to numb yourself with distractions. You were made to feel deeply so you could heal deeply. Many won't understand you, and they're not supposed to. Your path isn't crowded, your calling isn't common. People will question your distance, your silence, your intensity. But that's because they're operating on a different frequency. God didn't wire you for approval, he wired you for awakening. The more awakened you become, the more the world will reject you. But that rejection is actually redirection. God is filtering your circle, separating wheat from weeds. Not everyone can carry the weight of your anointing. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next dimension. The attacks you faced weren't random. They were spiritual alarms, warnings, signals that your light has started to irritate the darkness. You're becoming more aligned, more sensitive, more spiritually sharp. And that's why the warfare has increased. Don't take it personally when things start falling apart. Sometimes the collapse is the beginning of construction. Sometimes God allows the storm not to punish you, but to position you. You've been asking for clarity, and now He's removing everything that was clouding your vision. Even when it hurts, it's holy. You feel the call even when you try to ignore it. You've tried to live a normal life, but your spirit rebels against mediocrity. You're being pulled, stretched, stirred, because you're too full of divine fire to settle for lukewarm living. And God won't let you dim just to make others comfortable. You are the pattern breaker, the cycle destroyer, the light carrier. You weren't placed in your family, your city, your generation by mistake. There is divine strategy in your existence. You're not random, you're revelation. And that revelation comes with responsibility. You will have to let go of who you thought you were. You will have to grieve the life that once fit but no longer aligns. Spiritual awakening often feels like heartbreak because it's the death of illusion. But what rises in its place is unshakable truth. You've had moments of doubt, of darkness, of despair. But those were not signs of weakness, they were thresholds. You were standing on the edge of transformation. And the enemy tried to pull you back with fear. But he underestimated your resilience. Your resilience is spiritual. Your strength is not from this world. You've survived storms that would have destroyed others. You've walked through fire and came out carrying wisdom. Because God doesn't just preserve you, He prepares you. And now the preparation is turning into activation. You're starting to remember the assignments buried in your spirit. The visions, the passions, the callings that wouldn't go away. This is the moment they begin to bloom. Not because you're ready, but because you're obedient. You're not chasing purpose anymore, you're walking in it. You're no longer begging for signs, you're becoming one. Every step, every battle, every scar has led to this awakening. And while others are sleeping in spiritual slumber, you are waking up on purpose. You've become more sensitive lately, haven't you? Sounds feel louder, emotions feel deeper, the unseen feels closer. That's not anxiety, it's ascension. Your spirit is tuning into divine frequencies that most ignore. You're not breaking down, you're breaking through. You don't even pray the same anymore. Your words have changed, your posture has changed. You're no longer begging, you're commanding. You've realized your authority in the spirit realm. That's why the enemy is nervous, because you remember now. You've stopped explaining yourself to people who don't understand your path. Because how can they understand what they were never meant to carry? Your revelation will always sound like rebellion to those still trapped in illusion. But that doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you're ahead. Every delay you faced was divine. Because if God gave you what you asked for too early, it would have crushed you. He didn't withhold blessings. He was building your capacity. You had to grow into the person who could carry the weight of your assignment. And now you're almost there. There's a reason you've been feeling that tension. That inner pressure, that restlessness in your soul. It's the pull of purpose meeting the push of destiny. Something is unlocking, something sacred is shifting. And your life will never be the same again. You've gone through silent seasons where no one checked on you, where your prayers felt like they bounced off the ceiling, where you questioned your worth, your sanity, your place in this world. But through it all, you kept going. And that quiet endurance has built spiritual muscle. God has seen your private obedience. The fasts no one knew about, the tears cried into pillows, the moments you chose integrity when compromise was easier. He saw it all, and none of it was wasted. He's about to reward what you sowed in secret. The world will try to label you. Too intense, too spiritual, too sensitive. But those labels don't come from heaven. In God's eyes, you're exactly as He designed, intentional, equipped, and aligned. You were never too much. You were just never meant to be less. You feel things coming before they happen. You get gut feelings, inner nudges, spiritual downloads. And you've learned to stop doubting them, because they've proven true too many times. That's discernment, that's divine training. That's the mark of someone heaven trusts with secrets. People around you may think you're distant or disconnected. But you're not disconnected, you're deeply connected to a higher realm. You're not detached, you're focused. Because you know there's a bigger war going on. And your attention is sacred. You've stopped chasing temporary things. The money, the followers, the status, it doesn't satisfy anymore. Because once you taste purpose, nothing else feels real. You'd rather walk alone in truth then dance in circles of illusion. You've outgrown the noise. Even your sleep has changed. You wake up at odd hours. You get visions that shake you. That's because your spirit is in training. Heaven is downloading assignments even in your rest. You are being shaped even when you sleep. There is a fire rising inside you. You try to suppress it, but it won't be silenced. It's not ambition, it's anointing. It's not ego, it's energy that's been dormant for too long. It's time to let it burn. You've begun to feel like the old version of you no longer fits. The places you used to enjoy feel empty now. The conversations that once excited you now drain you. That's not boredom, that's elevation. Your soul is evolving, and it's shedding everything that no longer aligns. There's a sacred discomfort in awakening. It's the breaking of false attachments, the dismantling of who you thought you were. And though it feels like loss, it's actually liberation. You are not falling apart, you are being revealed. You've noticed how sensitive your energy has become. Crowds overwhelm you, noise agitates you. You feel everything, vibes, motives, hidden emotions. That's not weakness, it's spiritual radar. God has sharpened your senses for spiritual warfare. You no longer need loud signs to hear God. Now, even in silence, you feel His presence. You hear Him in the wind, the patterns, the stillness. You've learned to trust the whisper more than the thunder. And that intimacy is where your true power comes from. You're not interested in small talk anymore. You crave depth, soul-level truth. You want conversations that awaken something inside people. Because shallow waters bore those called to walk on oceans. You weren't made for the surface, you were born to dive deep. And you've noticed something else too. People are either drawn to your spirit or repelled by it. There's no middle ground anymore. Your light exposes both beauty and shadows in others. And not everyone is ready to face what your presence reveals. This is part of being chosen. You carry frequencies that challenge comfort zones. You're not just here to live, you're here to transform. And transformation requires disruption. You are the disruption heaven sent. Some will misunderstand your boundaries as coldness. But it's not coldness, it's consecration. You've learned to guard your energy, to preserve your peace. Because every moment of yours is sacred now. You no longer allow chaos access to your presence. You've stopped needing to be seen. Because you've realized God sees everything. You don't need the spotlight to know you're valuable. You don't need applause to validate your path. You've chosen to walk with heaven's approval. Even your relationships have changed. Old friendships have faded. New alignments are forming. You're starting to attract people with purpose, not just proximity. Because God is rearranging your tribe. He's making room for divine connections. You've learned to move in silence. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You've seen what premature exposure can cost. Now you plant your seeds in secret and let God bring the harvest in public. You've become spiritually strategic. Your intuition has become louder than the voices around you. You trust your inner, knowing more than external noise. You've stopped asking for permission to follow what God placed in your heart. Because obedience is louder than opinion. You now walk in alignment, not approval. You felt time speeding up lately. It's because we're in a spiritual acceleration. God is doing in days what used to take years. Things are being revealed, removed, and released at divine speed. And you're being prepared to lead in this divine shift. You are being positioned to carry revelation. To be a voice in the wilderness. To awaken dry bones and activate hidden gifts in others. You're not just chosen for yourself, you're chosen for a generation. Your light will ripple through bloodlines. You've noticed your gifts intensifying. You speak and people pause. You touch and healing begins. You dream, and the symbols linger long after you wake. This isn't random, it's divine unfolding. God is unlocking spiritual gifts that have been dormant until now. You've walked through enough darkness to understand the power of light. You've stared into the void and chose faith. You've seen what hell looks like up close, and still you rose with grace. Because your pain wasn't just survival, it was initiation. Every wound became a portal to deeper truth. You no longer crave what used to satisfy you. Material things feel shallow, empty wins feel meaningless. Because you've touched something eternal, and nothing else compares. You hunger for presence, for connection, for purpose. And that hunger is holy. You've been underestimated your whole life. Labeled too emotional, too quiet, too intense. But those labels were misdiagnosed superpowers. Your emotions are your guidance system. Your intensity is your purpose igniting inside you. The world told you to tone it down. But God says turn it up. Because what you carry isn't for their comfort, it's for their awakening. You weren't meant to make people feel safe, you were meant to make them feel. And feeling leads to transformation. There are things in your life that suddenly lost their grip. Habits you once clung to now feel foreign. People who once felt necessary now feel distant. You're not becoming detached, you're becoming divinely directed. God is pruning what cannot go where you're headed. You've realized you don't need to chase what's already assigned to you. You've stopped striving and started receiving. Because the path of a chosen one isn't about hustle, it's about alignment. It's not about proving yourself, it's about remembering yourself. And you, dear soul, are remembering beautifully. There's a glow in your eyes now. A quiet knowing, a holy defiance. Because you've walked through fire and came out holding light. You've seen the other side of fear, and it didn't destroy you. It awakened the warrior within. The voices of doubt still whisper, but they no longer command you. You recognize them now as echoes of the old self. And instead of listening, you rise higher. You've tasted truth, and it's too potent to ignore. Your spirit has matured beyond the noise. You're not alone in this. Though it feels lonely, you're surrounded by unseen allies. Your angels have been working overtime. You've been carried through storms you didn't even realize were trying to take you out. There is a divine army moving with you. You've stopped looking outward for signs. Because now the signs live within you. The confirmations come through chills, inner knowing, and unexplainable peace. You've tapped into heaven's GPS. And every step you take is guided by sacred intelligence. God has been waiting for this moment. The moment when your faith outgrew your fear. The moment when your surrender became your strength. The moment when your silence birthed strategy. This is that moment. It's been written all along. You've stopped asking, why me? Now you ask, what is this teaching me? Because wisdom has replaced the need for pity. You've realized that every trial was coded with revelation. Even your suffering was sacred. It shaped your sight. You don't resonate with the noise of this world anymore. Its distractions feel heavier, its pace more chaotic. That's not you losing interest, it's you realigning. Your spirit is being pulled into higher dimensions. And the things of the earth can no longer hold your attention. You've been called to stand in the gap. To intercede, to pray, to break, to build. You feel burdens that aren't yours because you're here to carry light for others. God trusts you to feel what others run from. Because through your empathy, healing flows. There's a reason your presence makes others shift. Some get uncomfortable, some feel seen. Your energy carries frequency. It's not just emotional, it's spiritual. And those still hiding from themselves will often run from you. But those who are ready will be drawn to you like a flame in the dark. Even in your silence, your soul speaks. You don't need to say much. Your energy carries authority. Because you walk with God, not in theory but in intimacy. And that presence cannot be faked, copied, or contained. It's the aroma of someone who has died and risen, spiritually awakened. You've learned to sit in the discomfort of not knowing. You've surrendered your timelines. You've chosen alignment over attachment. And in doing so, you've stepped into divine flow, the place where synchronicity, timing, and divine intervention live. You're no longer afraid of being misunderstood. You've made peace with the fact that not everyone will get you. And now you don't explain, you embody. You let your life speak louder than your words. Because truth doesn't need defense, it just needs presence. There are moments when you feel the presence of God so strong. You pause, you breathe, you weep without reason. That's not emotional breakdown, that's spiritual recognition. Your soul is remembering its source. You're tapping into the eternal frequency that birthed you. You carry both fire and water. You burn through lies, but you soothe broken hearts. You walk with both thunder and stillness in your voice. You carry heaven's justice and heaven's mercy in the same breath. You are the embodiment of divine paradox, and it's beautiful. There is a prophetic energy rising in you. You've started to speak things before they happen. You feel shifts in people, environments, even weather. And it's not imagination, it's activation. God is increasing your discernment for what's ahead. You're walking through life differently now. You listen more, you speak less. You observe everything from a higher lens. Because the veil has been lifted, and you see the spiritual blueprint beneath the surface. Nothing is random to you anymore. Everything holds meaning. Chosen one, if this message stirred something deep within you, don't ignore it. This wasn't just a video, it was a divine activation. You've heard the call. You feel the shift. Now it's time to walk boldly in who you truly are. So take a moment, like this video if your soul resonated. Comment below with "I receive this" to declare your alignment with this divine truth. And if you're ready to walk deeper into your purpose, subscribe to Inner Wisdom Souls right now, because your journey is only just beginning. This is not entertainment. This is spiritual awakening. And if you're still reading, it's because you've been marked for something greater. Don't stay silent. Step forward. Your tribe is waiting. Your calling is now.